Welcome to the depths of the strange, otherworldly, unknown, paranormal, and much more, where we explore theories that defy logic, reason, and will leave you questioning reality itself. There's something about old photographs that stirs the soul. They capture moments that should have been simple, peaceful, and ordinary. But sometimes the camera sees more than it should. Every so often, a photograph emerges that defies logic. Images that have been tested, studied, and debated for decades. And yet, no one can explain what was really captured. These aren't internet hoaxes or AI fabrications. These are real photos, taken long before digital manipulation existed. Each one carries its own darkness, and a lingering question no skeptic has been able to silence. In this episode, we'll look into 5 of the most chilling and unexplainable photos ever taken. Real images that hint at something beyond our reality. It was a calm afternoon in May of 1964 in Cumbria, England. A man named Jim Templeton, who was a fireman and amateur photographer, took his young daughter Elizabeth to the Solway marshes for a quiet family outing. He snapped 3 photos of her sitting in the tall grass, an innocent memory of a peaceful day. But when the film was developed, one of the pictures showed something terrifying. Behind Elizabeth stood a towering figure, white, featureless, with what looked like a helmet or dome-shaped head. It resembled an astronaut, but there was no one else there that day. Jim was adamant that the marshes were empty, and his wife also confirmed it. When Kodak examined the negatives, they confirmed the photo had not been tampered with or double exposed. The image spread worldwide. Even NASA officials reportedly reached out to Templeton, curious about the figure. Some believed it was a time traveler, accidentally caught mid-step between dimensions. Others suggested it was a spirit being, something from another plane that appeared briefly in our world. Years later, skeptics tried to debunk it, saying it might have been Jim's wife, back-turned and overexposed in the sunlight. But Jim insisted that was not possible, saying she was standing far behind him that entire time. If you stare long enough at the photo, it almost feels like the figure is standing guard, watching Elizabeth and the camera. This was a moment of innocence for the Templeton family, interrupted by something that wasn't supposed to be there. In the late 1950s, the Cooper family had just moved into their new home in Texas. Excited to capture the moment, they decided to take a family photograph, a simple snapshot of new beginnings. They gathered around the dinner table, smiling proudly for the camera. But when the film was developed, something very disturbing appeared. In the photo, hanging upside down from the ceiling, was a dark, human-shaped figure, limp, lifeless, almost as though it were falling through the air. Its outline was distinct, its presence undeniable. No one in the Cooper family saw anything that night. Experts couldn't find any sign of tampering or double exposure. Whatever was in that photo was truly captured by the camera. Was it a spirit caught mid-descent from another realm? A glimpse of someone who had died there long before? Or could it be a warning? A shadow of tragedy yet to come. To this day, no one has identified the figure or proven the photo fake. The house itself has long since been sold, but locals still whisper that strange noises echo through the halls at night, footsteps that begin on the ceiling. Some photos tell the story of a family's beginning, others, the story of something that never left. The year was 1919, and World War I had just ended. A Royal Air Force squadron gathered for a commemorative photograph, a final picture of the men who had survived the chaos of war. But when the photograph was developed, the men noticed something chilling. Standing in the back row, partially obscured by another airman, was a familiar face, the face of Freddie Jackson, a mechanic who had tragically died 2 days earlier in a propeller accident. His funeral had taken place the very same day the photo was taken. Every man in the squadron immediately recognized him. The smirk, the eyes, unmistakably Freddie. But how could that be? The negative was clean, no double exposure. The only explanation left was that Freddie had come to join his comrades one last time. Over a century later, the image remains one of the most chilling examples of alleged spirit photography. It's not grainy or abstract. Freddie's face is clear, almost as if he knew exactly where to stand. I strongly believe that even in death, it seems some bonds refuse to fade, and this is evidence of that. Few houses in America have a darker history than 112 Ocean Avenue, better known as the Amityville Horror House. In 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered his entire family as they slept, his parents and 4 siblings. The following year, the Lutz family moved in, but fled just 28 days later, claiming the house was haunted by evil forces. 2 years later, renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren entered the home. They set up cameras throughout the night to document any signs of supernatural activity. When they reviewed the photographs, one image stopped them cold. At the end of a dark hallway stood the figure of a small boy, pale-skinned, glowing eyes peeking out from behind a doorway. No children had been in the house during the investigation. The boy's face bore a striking resemblance to John DeFeo, one of the murdered children. To skeptics, it was a trick of light, maybe a camera operator caught mid-blink. But believers say it's undeniable proof the house remains a prison for the spirits of the DeFeo family, due to their quick and tragic ending. Even now, that image radiates unease. The vacant stare, the unnatural brightness of the eyes, and the overwhelming sense that the child was curious and aware of the people in his home. In December of 1964, French photographer Robert Le Serec and his wife were sailing near Hook Island, Australia. While crossing Stonehaven Bay, something massive stirred beneath their boat. They watched in disbelief as a gigantic, dark shape, over 70 feet long, moved silently beneath the water. Le Serec quickly grabbed his camera and began snapping photos. The resulting image is one of the most haunting in cryptozoological history. It shows what appears to be a monstrous tadpole-shaped creature, thick, scaleless, and deathly still, lying just beneath the surface, appearing to look right at them. Le Serec claimed they tried getting closer to the creature to snap a better photo, but as they got close, it suddenly moved, faster than anything they'd seen, disappearing into the murky depths. Skeptics, of course, insisted it was just a hoax using a tarp or floating debris. But many marine experts couldn't explain the sheer realism of the image. Even today, the photo remains one of the most convincing and eerie sea monster sightings ever recorded. Maybe it was fake, or maybe something unknown stirred beneath Hook Island that day. Perhaps something that should have been extinct. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but sometimes it's worth 1,000 chills. From spacemen who shouldn't exist, to ghosts that refuse to fade from memory, each of these photos is a frozen whisper from the unknown. When taking a picture, no one really knows what could be unknowingly captured. You could notice something in the background, a face, a shadow, something you sure as hell didn't see when you pressed the button. If you do, don't delete it. You could have proof of the unknown. If anyone has an unexplainable picture they'd like to share, let me know and I'll add it to a part 2 video. That's it for this video. I'm interested to know your own theories and thoughts, so please do share them in the comments. I'm also open to video ideas, so feel free to let me know. If you enjoy my videos, then please like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thank you as always. And don't forget to keep questioning reality.